afternoon, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. I'm back, so let's talk. As you can see from the thumbnail that I personally put together, I was thinking in the climate that we're in right now, where we have this very, very activist type of atmosphere, and everyone is pretty much becoming an activist in their own sense. What type of approach shall you take to the fight? And I chose two people who have very contrasting approaches, yet they have the same end goal, and that is the equality and right treatment of Black people in this country. And looking at the two back during their time when they were in their prime and they were definitely making things happen as far as the civil rights movement went, they were constantly pitted against each other because of their different views. And people back then, I could imagine being caught up in the excitement and in the like the political buzz that was going on amongst these two different groups of Black freedom fighters. um but at the same time, you would have to have a more spiritual understanding that um they both were necessary in that time, because just one side of the spectrum had not proved to be a successful way to go about it in the past. We've had people to try to revolt and rise up against the proverbial slave masters and the oppressors, and we had major bloodshed. And then we had people to try the peaceful um, and spiritual approach, only to be slaughtered as well. And so, in my mind, and after going back and really taking a different look at Martin Luther King Jr.'s approach and the church's approach, the Christian church's approach, then looking at Minister Malcolm's approach and the approach of the Nation of Islam, I came to the conclusion that a mix of Malcolm and Martin would be necessary for some effective communication and some results to be seen in our battle for civil rights. And let me explain to you what I mean. In situations where we've seen people go peacefully and protest peacefully, they were met with violence from police forces, the law enforcement at hand. And then you saw situations such as January the 6th, where the people came in with a a level of aggression that totally caught the security force off guard and put them on their heels, and really uh they took a great defeat that day in the show of force that was brought out that day. The people definitely had a stronger show of force than the government did, and it was very evident by the fact that they had to barricade themselves in the Capitol building. And so these are two different sides that shows something that was done effectively. Now, what was done effectively on the side of the peaceful protesters, which I would liken to the Martin Luther King side of this argument, is that they were able to demonstrate discipline, they were able to demonstrate control, civility, and compassion and care in order to find a solution to the issue that we have at hand. And so that is definitely needed. Cool heads will prevail in the heat of an argument or a disagreement. And we need that in order to come to a solution, and not just someone trying to make their point. And so that's where we would definitely want to lean towards Martin. But then there's those times when you're going to have someone who is so ignorant and so set upon um, intimidation and trying to make an example of you to others who would step up and oppose their ideology, that you're going to have to and you're going to have to dig in your heels and actually engage with the enemy. And not so much as out fighting and things like that, but you're also not going to let them come in and just beat you down and destroy you without giving them something to think about the next time they try to attempt to come into your home, because the word says that the enemy cannot come in and do anything to your home until he binds the strong man. And so once the strong man has been bound, only then can the enemy come in and plunder your home. And so in this scenario, you are the strong man. And so only until you're bound can the enemy come in and do anything. And so in this scenario, we are going to have to stand strong, strong man. That is the whole in the title of it indicatively is strong man. You are a strong man. You defend your home, you defend your house, you defend those in your house. And so standing by and allowing people to come into your home or come into your community and your nation and just committing acts against your people will not be tolerated. And so that is how that is broken down. And this is the concept that Malcolm and the Nation of Islam pushed. And that's why you had such a large following that was with them during that time period, because you had people who didn't believe in the concept to turn the other cheek. But you did have people who believed in the concept of by any means necessary. And so you had two different groups who had the same agenda, who had the same end goal, but they had different ideology on how to get there and what was going to be effective. And both together, it was definitely a powerful force that was still rings true to this day in the United States of America. And it goes down in the history books of what they did as a collective. And so that is why I came to the conclusion that a little bit of Martin and a little bit of Malcolm is necessary to get some effective results. Wow, I'm back, y'all. They tried to kick your boy out because well, you know how we like to say, oh, we spit so much truth, they tried to kick me off. And they got some kind of technical difficulties going on or whatever this morning. So I had to move around, kind of get closer to my box on in the house. But let me get back into my point. Um, yeah, we were talking about Brother Malcolm and the Nation of Islam and their influence in the United States and how they are necessary in the balance that is needed in a effective, I don't want to say attack because it makes it seem like we're going against the United States, and that's what they're afraid of anyway from the get go. So I don't want to perpetuate that stereotype. So I'll say that our confrontation with the powers that be that holds the key to equality in this country. So our confrontation with them is going to require a little bit of Malcolm and a little bit of Martin in order to be effective and in order to gain results in this United States of America. So I will continually push the narrative of balance. Balance in all things is going to give you a greater outcome. That is definitely a key premise to go by. That is something that you should always keep in mind because it's going to make things a little easier, because we are definitely out of balance as a country. We're definitely out of balance as far as the indoctrination of the people and the education of the people. It is not balanced at all. You have to have a balance of spirituality. You have to have a balance of emotional intellect, and you have to have a balance of the the physicality of the world. So, you know, hopefully we can work these things out and come to a better better quality of life that we're living now, that we've been subjected to because of the mistakes that we continue to make and repeat in our society. This is your boy D Mac, man. Like I said, keep your balance. And you know what I always say, sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.